for a second? Wait, where's the fake news? I don't even see them. That's a good thing. Oh, they're back there behind all the people, we the people. This is amazing. Ahwatukee, they told me this is a Democrat part of town. They told me this was a Katie Hobbs part of town. Whoa, this is amazing. Thank you. I've always loved Ahwatukee. I thought the quality of life here is great. How's the quality of life? Good? Woo, I see a little girl there. You want to keep it good, right? We are doing this for you, these precious kids over here. How many mama bears do we have in this crowd? How about papa bears? I have to tell you, we're jumping into politics. Not that we have time, and we can barely get the lunches packed in the morning. I mean, I remember putting like 2 cheese sticks and some crackers in there and thinking, well, at least their stomach won't be empty. But we realized that, and I'm looking at a mama bear here, we don't have the option of just sitting on the sidelines anymore. We've got to get in the game because they're coming after our baby cubs. And we're not going to let them come after our children. We're tired of it. I just learned something today that, when you get into politics, first of all, I had no intention of ever getting into politics in my life. As a matter of fact, when I used to anchor the news, when I was a fair journalist, I used to say to my co-anchor, John, who in their right mind would ever get into politics? You have to be crazy. And here I let the people of Arizona talk me into getting into politics. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. But I'm happy to do it because I have little ones like you guys do. And they're going after our kids. I heard something today about Katie Hobbs that absolutely shocked me. First of all, we already know she's an open borders person. When she was in the legislature, she voted against a border wall. She voted against a virtual border wall. She voted against the strike force to help us protect ourselves from what's happening at the border. And at the same time all that was going on, we found out that she sponsored. Now, when you sponsor a bill, you're putting your name on it. That means you're super proud of it, right? Is that right, Wendy? If you sponsor a bill, you are so proud of this that you're putting your name on it. The bill she sponsored was going to introduce sex education starting in kindergarten. That's what she's about. Now, I'm going to be honest, my father was a public school teacher, God rest his soul. He was a football coach. He taught history and government. I'll tell you what, he would be shocked at what's happening in our schools right now. No kindergarten teacher. Any teachers in this room? You did not sign up to be a teacher. Thank you, by the way, for your hard work. You didn't get in, that's right. You didn't get into teaching probably to get rich, although I do think you need a pay raise and a big one. But you didn't get into teaching, especially if you're a kindergarten teacher, to talk about sex with 5-year-olds, right? This is why we're losing good teachers. This is why we're losing good teachers. Today I found out, as she's pushing things like gender affirmation surgery, which is a nice way of saying mutilating our children. You know she's for that, right? And she's for it against mom and dad's will, behind mom and dad's back. I learned why today. We just found out her husband is a child psychologist who specializes in transitions for children. We found this out today. It makes sense now. It makes sense. Why would she push this stuff on our beautiful babies who are perfect? But her husband's making money, brainwashing our children into thinking they can be a different gender than they were born. It is sick, it is twisted, and we cannot let this monster anywhere near the governor's office, guys. And I wonder if the fake news will cover it. Katie Hobbs' husband is in the business of transitioning our children into a different gender. Let that sink in. I don't think they will, because you know what? I bet they're not parents. And there is a force inside a mama bear. And I know many of you know what I'm talking about. And a papa bear. Have you ever seen the video? I'm going to think about videos I've seen in the past where a child, a tragic incident, a car rolls over a child, and you see a video of a father, regular guy, lifting a car off a child, superhuman, like Hulk strength, or a mom and a dad lifting a car, and you go, how did that happen? That is that mama bear instinct inside of us. And the left has gone and done the stupidest thing in the world. They got between a mama bear and her baby cub. It's the most dangerous place you can go in nature, right? And we will not sit idly by while they try to brainwash our kids. We will not sit idly by while they talk about things that are never to be talked about with our children, like sex education in kindergarten. And this is why we need some common sense. And this, I'm not trying to be mean. I love all people. I feel for people who have confusion like that. But don't push this on our children. Their brains are so malleable. I mean, we think about the power of suggestion. There's a whole billion-dollar industry called advertising that uses the power of suggestion. It is powerful. And to use our children's minds and fill it with stuff that's just completely inappropriate. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to finally start giving our kids a proper education. I promise you, we will restore a quality education for our children. Are you for that? Good. I'm going to age myself. I'm going to age myself right now, and I looking around this crowd, there's a few people my age or older who will understand. Remember when in high school we used to teach real life skills and work skills? Who's old enough to remember? I don't even want to admit it. I'm old enough to remember that. Wendy and Hal are like, yeah, we remember that. We're going to bring that back. We want a dual-track education. Yes. We want a dual-track education, so after 10th grade, our kids decide, do they want to go the 4-year college track? And if so, that's great. We keep them on that path. Or do they want to get trade skill training, vocational training, and career certification in high school so they're ready for the high-paying jobs that are out there? They want to do that. And the beautiful thing is, how many of you work in the trades? I think it's the most noble of professions. These are the smart ones out here. They're probably not in a whole bunch of debt either. And you could probably work 80 hours a week if you wanted to, right? You're in demand. The beautiful thing about that is you go into the trades, you can still decide to go to college, but you always have that to fall back on. Some of the most amazing people I've met on the campaign trail started in the trades. They have an HVAC company now, and they're an electrical company. They have a plumbing company. They're the smartest and the richest people I've met on the campaign trail. And they tell me, Kari, we need more workers. And I always use the point when I was down in Tucson, in the Vail School District, just outside of Tucson. They have embraced vocational training in their high schools. This is what's going to save our public schools, guys. They've embraced it, and you can go and get culinary arts. You can get medical. You can become a CNA. You can get welding. I always remember the welding class because the kids were so happy. First of all, they're welding. How cool is that? I mean, they're like smiles on their face. The instructor said we had to grow this the first year. It was so popular. And he said, look around this schoolroom. Every single one of these kids will graduate with their diploma and a full-time job offer, 100% of them, making $70,000 to $100,000 full benefits. Wow. That's more than the Arizona governor makes, by the way. So maybe I'll take a side job as a welder. But I say this because what is the purpose of educating our children? It's not to bide time, to get them out of our hair, although occasionally we appreciate that when they're out of our hair, if we admit it, right? The point of educating our children is to prepare them for the opportunities that are out there. Prepare them for the future so that when they graduate, they're ready for the real world. And there are real-world jobs out there. Majority of the real-world jobs that pay well do not require a college degree. I'm not here to tell you not to get a college degree. If you choose to do that, that's fantastic. And while we're talking about college degrees, who's ready to get rid of this woke curriculum at ASU, U of A, and NAU? Good. I sent my son off to college, and I said, Leo, please don't come home with, purple hair and, hating your parents and hating America. He's actually a pretty solid conservative. And I joke a little bit, but that's happened to a lot of parents. Heartbreaking to hear a parent say, I sent my son or daughter off to college, and I don't even recognize the person who came back. We want our kids to be properly educated, ready for the real world, right? We fund those universities, and we want them to teach a real education. We need a lot fewer underwater basket weaving, gender studies professionals, and we need a whole lot more kids who are ready for the jobs that are out there. So let's start doing that. So there's a lot on the line. I know Blake talked a lot about what he plans to do. We've got to vote Republican up and down that ticket. We really do. There's a lot on the line. We need a transformational leader right now, not someone to come in and take baby steps. How do you take baby steps when we have a guy named Joe Biden who handed control of our border over to the cartels? You can't take a baby step. You've got to take a decisive action and protect the border and take it back from the cartels, and we're going to do that on day one. And there's a reason that these guys are writing 100% negative stories on us, on me. 100%. I was shocked when I heard that. I read the story this week. Apparently some group studied all of the mainstream media, and they said, of course the Democrats get treated like they're brilliant when they're not. And the Republicans get treated awfully, but that's not a surprise to us. 87% of Republican candidates are getting negative coverage by the fake news media. But there was something shocking in the story. They said there's one candidate out there who's getting 100% negative coverage by these guys. Guess who it was? Yours truly. The good news is we're not listening to them. We're not listening to them. We've pulled the curtain back. We see what they're about. Let me ask, and I want you to kind of look at the media when you answer this, when you answer this question. How many of you really don't care what the fake news media says? Give it some noise. You just don't care. I talked to, my husband told me, I talked to my husband today, I talk to him every day because he's on the campaign trail with me. But he took our sweet little pug, Sushi, out for a walk this morning, and he had my hat on. Not my hat, it said Kari Lake for governor. And he said, I got stopped by so many people who were like, yes, I voted for her, I'm gonna vote for her. But he talked to one guy who said, I voted for Kari, and I am so vocal on social media. He said, in 2020, I was afraid to speak out. I didn't want to be canceled. I didn't want to have a client get mad at me. I was worried about ruffling feathers. He said, we don't have any more time on the clock. We got to speak out right now. Who's ready to speak out to save their country? It's not always easy. It's not, I spoke out, obviously, I got real vocal. I worked for 27 years covering the news, and if you had me on in your home at any time during that period, I thank you. I feel this relationship I have with the people of Arizona. And when I walked away from that, I had seen how the media treated President Trump, unfairly, attacking him, just horribly, a guy who gave up so much. And I thought, well, surely they won't do, they just didn't like him, but they would never do that to me. I worked with these people, right? Sure enough, sure enough. And I've lost some friends, but I'll tell you what, the patriotic, America-loving friends I've gained will make up for any friend I lost 1,000,000 times over. I see many of them here. I see many of them here. And that's what it's about. Our family is who loves this country. Our blood, we have our blood relatives, obviously, but we also have a blood with DNA in it from our founding fathers. And our founding fathers are counting on us right now to get out there and vote and get out there and save this republic. Who's ready to do that? Who's going to show up like their lives depend on it? You know, I can go through all of my policies, but I think if you've been following, who's been following me for a few months? Okay, good, thank you. For those of you who haven't, I'm gonna make it real simple. We're going to secure the border. We're going to stop the cartels. We're going to stop the drug runners. We are going to do everything in our power to stop the most dangerous drug that is flowing through Arizona and poisoning our young people in this country. Hardest thing, without a doubt, has been being on the campaign trail. And I can't even tell you how many times this has happened. So many times, I've lost count. Moms and dads who come up to me, and you see it in their face, and they say, it's always after the event, and they grab you by the arm and they say, I lost my son. He was 17, he took a pill. My daughter was 22 and she took a half of what she thought was a Xanax pill. And they're gone. Think about what we've accomplished in our lives from 17 on or 18 on. You don't get these lives back, and we're losing thousands of young people. I will do everything in my power to fight this scourge of fentanyl coming into our country. I promise you. We are going to fully fund our police, and we're going to fill those ranks so that we have plenty of police. When we call 911, they show up quick. Now, I know Ahwatukee is a bedroom community. It's a lovely place, but we've all seen the homeless population increase. I'm sure you've seen it here. Shocking. Everywhere. Everywhere here. I'm the only candidate in the country with a policy to tackle chronic street homelessness and restore life to the hardworking Arizonans who pay their taxes and want their parks back. And because these people will say, she's not compassionate. I'm actually very compassionate. It is not compassionate to allow people to fester on the street living in a tent with a needle in their arm. And we've been allowing that to happen for far too long. We need to get these people help. We're going to ban urban camping. That's the nice name for tents on the corner. We're going to get people help. We're going to use tough love to get people help. We've got to lift these people up, and we can take people from the depths of despair and turn them into contributing citizens with a life worth living. I've seen it with my eyes. God did not envision us living in despair in a tent. And it's not compassionate to prolong that misery. It is not compassionate to continue to pour money into programs that are enabling people to use drugs and fall deeper into despair. And I'll tell you who it's not compassionate for, you, the hardworking people who pay your taxes. You want your kids to be able to ride a bike, not worry about it. You want to use the park down the street. We are going to tackle the big problems. We're going to tackle them all, and we can do this. And I want you to know before we take off tonight, because I know how many of you have to get up early with the kids tomorrow? Okay, how many of you are tired? I know I am. 520 days on the road across this beautiful state. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I've loved every second of it. I've loved every second of it. But we are going to do the big things. I'm not in this because I want to be governor. I want the fame and fortune. I've already had fame. It's overrated. There is no fortune in being governor. If you're getting rich in politics, you are corrupt as heck, right? I'm in this because I love Arizona. I drove across this country, too many years ago, almost 30 years ago, and I was so welcomed into Arizona. It felt like home immediately. I want so desperately for my kids to have those same opportunities that we had. And we know it's changing. We see it. We're seeing blue states where people are fleeing and they're coming over here, and we welcome people. I'll tell you what, the Californians that I talked to on the campaign trail, they grab me the hardest. Do not let Arizona turn into California. We just uprooted our lives. And we won't. We won't. We're going to do big things. And I want you to know that we've got to start bringing God back into our lives. Who's for that? That's right, Mama. Mama Bear. We've got to bring God back into our culture. We've got to bring him back in. We cannot get through this without God. We can't do it. And we're going to bring God back in. And that same God that parted the Red Sea, that same God that parted the Red Sea is with us right now. And God is looking down on us saying, I picked every single one of you to be here at this moment in history. Every single one, from that beautiful sweet girl waving. He picked her. He picked this lovely lady with the Blake Masters shirt on. He picked you and you to be here at this very moment. Because we are put here to save this country and to save this state. And it's going to start right here in Arizona. So let's go out and vote on Tuesday. Who's ready? Take a friend. Take the kids. And let's save Arizona. Thank you, Awatuki.